Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here. ISDA, International Swaps and Derivatives Association, and FedNow. Everything's happening, and it's happening very quickly. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $2.03 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency. The market is up 4.5% at the time of recording this video. 51,800 plus for Bitcoin right now. Screaming. It's up 4.5 in the last 24, but up 17 plus percent on the 7-day. Ethereum now 2,700 plus, up 14.8 on the 7-day, 5.4 on the 24-hour. 97 billion plus for Tether market cap. XRP at 53 cents here, up 2.5 on the 24-hour, up 5.4 on the 7-day. We're sitting at 29 billion plus for a market cap. So let's get into the range of price very quickly here. 52 cents on the bottom, 54 on the top. We'll keep an eye on it here. And I want to show you this teaser right here, promo for XRP Las Vegas. And I have something for you got to consider. Take a listen.
The countdown continues to XRP Las Vegas 2024, May 3rd and 4th. Get ready for a great weekend with the XRP community. Learn about Uphold's suite of services. Learn about crypto IRAs from iTrust Capital. Hear from Link2. And learn about what companies are ready for takeoff on the IPO runway. Limited tickets still available for the Future of Digital Assets Benefit Dinner featuring Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, attorney John Deaton, Chris Giancarlo, Digital Dollar Project, Michael Arrington, Arrington Capital, and Eleanor Tarrant, Fox Business. Get your tickets to XRP Las Vegas 2024 now. Don't miss out.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you something. Look, when you're looking at the cost of this event, when you're looking at the cost of any event, start looking at this and saying to yourself, this is a convention, a conference that is going to be highly interactive. That's the idea. You're going to get to interact with the companies and the people of this conference. You're going to get to hear people speak about things that are happening to the ledger, the XRP ledger, that are so profound that it may be that by the time, and we still don't know yet, but it is certainly going to happen, automated market makers are coming to the XRP ledger. We know that we already have the vote for them. We know that the minor bug has been fixed, and we know that the voting process works quite well because it catches these things in that 2-week period, if not before you get to the 2-week period on these things. So, this is super exciting because you may learn information by making an investment to come to this conference that teaches you exactly what you need to know to where you may not have to sell your XRP for the rest of your life. We have a lot to learn, and this conference is really, really going to prove to be a real moment where you can get information that can empower you to the place where you actually get some information that could change the way you move forward with your portfolio. Seriously, it is that profound what's happening every day before our eyes with the ledger. And speaking of profound, oh boy. Yep, there he is. The guy who I believe, no matter what, is not going to be in that chair at the SEC much longer. Because I believe after this election cycle, he got to go. He going to be gone. That's what I think is going to happen regardless. At least glass half full. That's the hope. So, but with that, I want to remind people before I play this clip, understand that if he is well aware, and he's not a nice guy, right? Okay? And I don't think he's a dumb man either. He's doing things that I believe are not right for the market, the way he's going about them. And I think there's a different way you could go about doing this without harming the innovators and entrepreneurs and the investors in this space. But he's choosing not to do that. However, with that being said, I want you to listen to this. There's some comments in here we need to really, really pay attention to.
And I think we're all curious about how you think this is going, not just in terms of what's happened to the price, but in terms of what you think is happening inside this market and whether you think it's, quote unquote, working.
Well, look, we focus on investor protection, and of course the issuer is raising money. So this product, we've had similar products in gold and silver, ETFs, you call them. They're technically exchange-traded products. We approved a group of about 11 at one time. This was not the first way you could buy or express a risk in Bitcoin. But as we like to say, we're merit neutral. This was not in any way like an approval of Bitcoin. That existed. It's just how to trade it in these exchange-traded products.
We've had both a futures-based Ether and Bitcoin ETF, before, and I'm curious sort of how you think that this is going to impact the price of these things, given that, by the way, interestingly, who was it Pomp who was just on, Anthony Pompliano was just on earlier this week and was saying that so few Bitcoins are actually moving, and what we should think of that.
In merit neutral, I think it's a little less than neutral, Mr. Chairman. It almost was, we called it grudgingly. When you finally got it from the court case sort of forced in. Is it really just neutral, or wasn't there a little bit of a, we're not sure about this thing, and buyer beware?
Let me say it this way.
Yeah.
We're merit neutral if somebody's complying with the laws.
Okay.
So if they're giving full, fair, and truthful disclosures to the American public, who gets to decide on their investments.
But
okay?
you're so smart. You're at MIT, and people listen to your what you think about Bitcoin, and it is troublesome to me if I look at it and I see all the merits of it, and someone that taught about it and understands it seems to have an opinion that maybe it's, I don't know, pet rockish or something.
I get your words about pet rocks and so forth, but I think we also have an investor education responsibility at the SEC, particularly about those investments that are non-compliant with either the securities laws
or
commodities laws and so forth. So here we have an asset class, all of these 15, 20,000 crypto tokens, many of which, without prejudging anyone, many of which are actually something called investment contracts or securities, and the platforms upon which you trade, the intermediaries. They're not like in this building, NASDAQ, that has protections and against fraud and manipulation and the like.
Just seen people lose their shirt on with NASDAQ stocks.
You can lose because there's risk. There's risk in investments. But what we try to do as a society is take some of the fraud and manipulation risk out of the market.
There you have it. Now, listen, Joe Kern was calling him out, basically saying, he leaned in, look, when you were at MIT, you had a whole different program going on than you got going on today. He stopped himself from going all the way there. And it was funny because Andrew Sorkin kind of cuts his eyes over at him a few times while he's saying it. But Joe called him out originally because he's saying we're merit neutral at the SEC. Grudgingly, maybe, right? Because you got forced to really go along with the Bitcoin spot ETFs. It's nice to see that out of CNBC. You don't get it as often as I'd like, but it's nice to see that was a nice little push there. Not hard enough, but it was at least a push. Now let's listen to this, because Gary gets to a place where he says Bitcoin's really not that decentralized.
By regulation.
Is that the problem, though? It's not necessarily Bitcoin, the underlying asset, but more the froth and the potential for fraudsters to use it that has been.
Well, this is a field, Becky, that's been rife with fraud and manipulation. And look at all the bankruptcies. And you've had on this set people talking about those various bankruptcies.
And I have to cut in here. Yeah, it's ripe is rife with fraud and manipulation. Yeah, the SEC manipulating the Grayscale case, the SEC manipulating the Coinbase case, the SEC manipulating the Ripple case, the SEC, the Debtbox case. Gee, Manetti, if anybody should know anything about manipulation, it's that guy we're looking at on that screen right now, right? And you want to talk about all the bankruptcies? You could have prevented. You were the fail-safe that failed. This guy right here. And yet he's talking about bankruptcies, and he is absolutely responsible for FTX going down. It was his job to do the due diligence, and it would appear from where we're all standing that because Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX were the second largest Democratic donor to the Democratic Party, that we didn't see the due diligence of FTX, because you know what? Ray Charles could have seen the dumpster fire that was FTX if he wanted to. Let's change gears here while all of that's happening. We have some things to really watch out for. Now, we know that we got some court dates coming up. I went over that a few days ago with Ripple. You got to watch out for those. If you haven't seen that, you can find that in my video playlist. Please go watch that to get the latest about what's coming up in that regard. But right here is ISDA. And if you remember, this is to remind us to stay paying attention, because especially in a crypto winter market like this, and there's so much FUD and negative sentiment out here, you got to keep everything straight. We want to pay attention to these dates because ISDA is talking about OTC derivatives compliance calendar. And basically what they're showing here is saying these are the dates where February 13th, 2024, for instance, effective SEC rules, security-based swap execution registration regulation, security-based swap execution facilities, comments due, CFTC proposed rule to amend the capital reporting requirements, swap dealers, codifying no action position. You see the details of this, right? You see all of this. And then on the 16th, I'm not going to read all of these. I'm just giving you what's happening here. Deadline for CFT proposed rule, protection of clearing member funds. Clearing member funds held by derivatives clearing organization. Now, it doesn't say distributed ledger technology. It doesn't say those things. However, I think we should be watching because we know that there has been a push to move to T+1. So, understanding that, ISDA is a great place for us to watch because we know that Ripple joined ISDA and entered that $1.2 quadrillion derivatives market because they're joining the other massive behemoth titans of finance like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, CME Group, Citibank, BNY Mellon, and the London Stock Exchange, and Ripple as well. This is what I'm talking about. And there are people out here during this time telling us that Ripple's failed. Well, then why in the hell did ISDA ask them to join? Alongside of CME Group, Citibank, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and everybody else we just said. Why are they being asked to do that if they haven't done something successful? This is what I'm saying. You know, this is why, personally, myself, I have to keep myself in the market daily so I can see these things for myself, and I hope this is helping you do the same. Listen to this quick clip here. Shout out to Mr. Mann. Give him a follow. Participation in FedNow pilot program and its completion of certification for FedNow service demonstrate its commitment to becoming a premier provider of U.S. payment gateway connectivity. Companies' expertise, experience, in mature instant payment markets such as the UK make it suitable for partners for U.S. banks and financial service providers looking to transition to the next stage of their growth. Form 3 hit 21.8 million revenue with 462-person team in 2023. Take a listen.
But first, I just wanted to give an opportunity to have each of our panelists introduce themselves. I'll start with myself. I'm Dave Scola. I am the Chief Executive for Form 3 in the U.S. I am a reform banker, been in the payment space for a couple of decades, joined Form 3 about a year and a half ago to launch the build out of the business here in the U.S. And for those of you not familiar with Form 3, We offer a platform that works with large banks, banks in general, to provide connectivity to the various payment schemes in the US, in the UK, and in Europe.
And there you have that. And just to touch base on all this for everybody, again, another reminder, there's people out here trying to convince everybody that Ripple's failed at payments. I just don't buy it myself. Again, all of this comes down to clarity. The reason the banks haven't used this is because there isn't the legal and regulatory and legislative clarity, and they're not risk takers. And if banks are going to take risk, you know what they're going to do? They're going to take risk with your money and my money and lend it out 10-to-1. Fractional lending. Yes, FedNow uses distributed ledger technology, and even the IMF put out a chart that shows there's a connection between DLT platforms like Ripple and FedNow. Give Smoke a follow. He's been killing it. DLT platforms are integrated with traditional non-DLT FMI FedNow for payment settlement. IMF staff, you can see the document right here, FedNow planned. You can see clearing in private, right? And then distributed ledger technology platforms, DLT platforms, RippleNet, IBM, WorldWire, Center Stablecoin Network. But they're still trying to tell you, everybody, they're trying to tell us all that Ripple ain't got the payments. I think that they've got it twisted. This is just me personally. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the one. We'll find out. That's the beautiful part about all of this. If you're patient enough, we're all going to find out. Yeah. Look, here's the deal. For me, this is exciting because I know that this is the same log jam it's always been. And I know I've said this over the last few days, last week or so, but I'm hammering home because the more negativity we feel, the more FUD we feel. I've been here a long time, and I've seen a lot of downtime in this market, and I know what it's like right before it goes crazy up. And it's always like this. It is always very bad until it is extremely good. And it's only extremely good for a short period. And then it goes back to being bad again for a while. Because we're in such an early market. And speculation is the real driver at this point. Imagine what these things look like. Imagine what this market or Ripple, a company, or digital asset XRP in the ledger look like when the driver is utility and not speculation. How about that one? Again, you know the chart. You know what's going on there. FedNow and Ripple is a partner there. At what point, Ratha Common asks a great question here, does Ripple issue their own stable coin? Do the custody acquisitions suggest it? Use it in AMM liquidity pools, put it on exchanges with much greater attestation and compliance than USDT, USDC? Maybe too much capital outlay. The AMM is awesome, but who will fill the liquidity pools? Great questions here. But what I can say is I've been asking that, but maybe there already is a stable coin, and maybe it's a global stable coin known as XRP. And once you get things like integral characteristic design changes and amendments to the ledger that bring features like automated market makers and access to liquidity pools, maybe, just maybe, you change the definition of what XRP actually is. Because right now, today, we only know what XRP isn't in the eyes of a regulator. And XRP, in and of itself, is not a security. All right, I'm going into the Freedom Zone. I hope you will join us. I've been out on set all day with Fruition Productions, helping them record XRP Unleashed. It is going to be incredible. And I tell you, they're going to be at XRP Las Vegas. And if you want to participate in XRP Unleashed, you will have the opportunity to do so while you're at XRP Las Vegas, because they're going to be there filming everybody around. So it's going to be an incredible opportunity for you to have a chance to put your mark as a member of the XRP Army in that film. So make sure you get your ticket before it's gone. We're going into the Freedom Zone, and I'm going to talk a little more about what it was like on set today. And I'm going to talk about maybe who was there. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch you in the Freedom Zone.